The tension in Port Charles is thick enough to cut with a knife, especially with Jason Morgan suddenly packing up his son Danny and leaving town for a supposed father-son bonding trip. But if you ask me, this sudden departure is a giant smokescreen for a high-stakes, life-or-death rescue mission that is going to rewrite decades of General Hospital history. Let us talk about the elephant in the room, the highly anticipated arrival of Troy Lennon Appel as the mysterious businessman named Hudson. The official press releases and leaked scripts want us to believe that Hudson is just another wealthy executive rolling into town looking for a specific person. But ladies, we have been watching this soap opera for way too long to fall for that generic cover story. Whenever a handsome, enigmatic stranger arrives in Port Charles with a vague corporate background, there is always a deeply buried secret trailing right behind him. My exclusive theory and the whispers coming from the insider leaks point to a revelation that will bring fans to their knees. I firmly believe that Hudson is not just some random businessman. Hudson is actually Morgan Corinthos, the beloved, presumed dead son of Sonny Corinthos and Carly Spencer. If this insider leak turns out to be true, this will go down as one of the most explosive, earth-shattering returns in the history of General Hospital. Think back to the tragic night Morgan supposedly died in that horrific car bombing meant for Julie and Jerome. We saw the explosion, we saw the devastation, and we saw Carly and Sonny completely fall apart. But in the soap world, if there is no body, there is no death. I am completely convinced that the WSB, who are notorious for hovering around Port Charles like vultures, swooped in immediately after that explosion. They never let Morgan die. Instead, they secretly extracted his severely injured body from the wreckage, covered up the evidence, and transported him to an undisclosed black site facility to begin a terrifying, top-secret experimental program. Why would the WSB want Morgan Corinthos? It all makes perfect, chilling sense when you look at the history of this shadow organization. The WSB has a long, dark history of memory mapping, brainwashing, and turning vulnerable individuals into highly trained assets. Look at what happened to Drew Kane, or even Jason Morgan himself during his recent forced employment with the agency. The WSB saw an opportunity to take the son of the most powerful mob boss on the eastern seaboard and mold him into the ultimate weapon. I believe they put Morgan through grueling psychological and physical experiments, wiping his memories, suppressing his bipolar disorder with experimental drugs, and completely erasing his identity as a Corinthos. They rebuilt him from the ground up, giving him a new face, a new life, and a new name, Hudson. But here is where the upcoming episodes are going to get incredibly intense. I do not think the WSB's twisted experiments were a complete success. You cannot just erase the soul of a Corinthos. According to my theory, deep down beneath the tailored suits and the cold, calculated businessman persona, fragments of Morgan's true memories are fighting to break the surface. Imagine the scenes we are going to get. Hudson might be sitting in a boardroom, and suddenly he gets a blinding flash of Carly's face, or he hears the distinct, authoritative gravel of Sonny's voice in his nightmares. He might catch the scent of a specific coffee blend at Kelly's or the Metro Court and feel its grable, an overwhelming, inexplicable wave of nostalgia that brings him to his knees. These fragmented, bleeding memories are the key to his true identity, and they are exactly what led Jason Morgan straight to him. This brings us to Jason's highly suspicious exit from Port Charles. We were told Jason took Danny on a father-son trip to reconnect after his traumatic absence. But let us be real, guys. Jason Morgan does not just take a vacation when the town is crawling with threats like Jen Sidwell and Ross Cullum. I strongly suspect that during Jason's time working as a captive contractor for the WSB, he stumbled upon highly classified, encrypted files detailing the Hudson Project. Jason is a master investigator. He likely spent the last few months quietly piecing together the puzzle, connecting the dots between the WSB's memory-wiping experiments and the timeline of Morgan's supposed death. When Jason finally obtained the undeniable proof that Morgan was alive and operating under the alias Hudson, he knew he had to act immediately before the WSB realized their secret was compromised. Jason's trip with Danny was the perfect alibi. While the town thought he was roasting marshmallows and pitching tents, Jason was actually executing a highly dangerous, off-the-books extraction mission to rescue Morgan from the final stages of the WSB's control. Jason knows better than anyone what it feels like to have your mind tampered with and your freedom stripped away by a faceless government agency. He was not going to let his best friend's son suffer that same fate for another second. He infiltrated whatever black site or corporate front Hudson was being held at and pulled him out. But the danger is far from over, which is why Jason's next moves are going to be absolutely crucial for the upcoming sweeps week. When Jason brings Morgan back to Port Charles, I am betting my bottom dollar that he will continue to call him Hudson. Why? Because Jason is a brilliant tactician. He knows that if he parades Morgan Corinthos through the front doors of the Metro Court, the WSB will instantly descend on Port Charles with an army of lethal agents to reclaim their stolen property. By maintaining the Hudson alias, Jason creates a protective buffer. He allows Morgan to integrate into the town under the guise of a visiting executive, hiding him in plain sight while keeping the WSB completely in the dark about his true awakening. The emotional fallout from this secret is going to be the stuff Emmy Awards are made of. Just imagine the absolute gut punch of a scene when Carly Spencer crosses paths with Hudson for the very first time. She will not recognize his face, but a mother's intuition is the most powerful force in the universe. Carly might bump into him in the lobby, look into his eyes, and feel a sudden, breathless shock through her system. She will notice the way he tilts his head, the familiar cadence of his laugh, or a specific subconscious gesture that only Morgan ever did. Carly will be inexplicably drawn to this stranger, feeling a profound maternal pull that she will not be able to logically explain to anyone, not even to herself. And what about Sonny? The great Sonny Corinthos, who has carried the heavy, crushing guilt of Morgan's death on his shoulders for years. When Sonny meets Hudson, the air in the room will completely shift. Sonny is incredibly intuitive when it comes to his family. He might view Hudson as a business rival or a potential threat at first, but during their confrontations, Sonny will feel an eerie, haunting familiarity. He will look at Hudson's defiance, his underlying anger, and his stubbornness, and it will be like looking into a mirror reflecting his lost boy. The psychological torture of Sonny and Carly feeling so connected to a man they believe is a total stranger is going to have us all reaching for the tissues, ladies. Meanwhile, the internal warfare happening inside Hudson's mind is going to be a phenomenal storyline for Troy Lennon Appel to sink his teeth into. Hudson will be constantly torn between two entirely different existences. On one side, he has the cold, disciplined, WSB programmed identity of a successful corporate shark. On the other side, he has the bleeding, chaotic, deeply emotional memories of Morgan Corinthos fighting to reclaim their rightful place in his brain. He will find himself gravitating towards the Corinthos family without knowing why. He might instinctively know the layout of the Corinthos mansion, or find himself wandering to Morgan's grave, staring at the headstone with a profound sense of emptiness and confusion. This excruciating internal battle could stretch out for weeks, delivering high-stakes psychological drama as Jason desperately tries to help him piece his shattered mind back together in secret. But of course, we know that WSB is not going to just roll over and let their multi-million-dollar asset walk away. This is where the climax of the storyline is going to hit a fever pitch. Jack Brennan, or perhaps an even higher-ranking, more sinister WSB executive, is going to realize that Hudson has been compromised and extracted by Jason Morgan. They are going to trace him back to Port Charles, and they will not hesitate to eliminate anyone who stands in their way of getting Morgan back. This will force Jason to step up as Hudson's ultimate bodyguard, engaging in a lethal shadow war against the WSB right in the streets of Port Charles. Jason will have to protect the young man while simultaneously trying to trigger his true memories before the WSB can activate any hidden, deadly programming they might have implanted in Hudson's brain. If the writers truly commit to this leaked storyline, the highly anticipated reunion between Sonny, Carly, and their son will not be an instant, neat little bow. It is going to be a grueling, emotional roller coaster filled with tiny, agonizing clues, near misses, and explosive confrontations. We will be sitting on the edge of our seats as Hudson slowly, painfully remembers the love of his parents, the tragic night of the bombing, and the true identity that was stolen from him by a corrupt agency. When that dam finally breaks and Morgan Corinthos fully returns to himself, the tears of joy from Carly and Sonny will echo through the entire soap opera community. So, what do you guys think about this massive insider leak? Do you believe that the mysterious Hudson is actually a brainwashed Morgan Corinthos brought back from the dead by the WSB's twisted experiments? And How long do you think Jason Morgan can keep this explosive secret hidden before Carly's motherly instincts uncover the absolute truth?